and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for our new baby brokettes out there, welcome to the show. The way we format it is first we start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week. This week will be just a little bit different, though. For those of you returning to our show, as you can tell, my voice is messed up again. I caught another cold right on the heels of the last one that I just had. Work has also been super crazy, so we do have a very news-packed show for you guys, but we only have 2 comic book reviews for you, but both are amazing.
Yeah, very good comics we'll talk about later. I haven't had a story time with Daniel, a dedicated segment, and I'm going to kick it off before we head into the news. And it's actually not from the notes, it's going to be a different one. Not related to comics, not related to movies, or any of that. It's actually related to a haircut I got.
Okay.
We're not sponsored by Hair Cuttery, but I went into Hair Cuttery for my haircut. And just waiting there, thinking maybe 5 minutes, it's kind of busy in there. And this guy comes up with white hair to the rest of us that are waiting for our haircuts. And he says that he's one of the founders to Hair Cuttery.
Is that how he introduced himself? Hi, founder of Hair Cuttery.
Essentially, yeah. He introduced himself, his name. He said he was visiting all the different hair cutteries throughout the nation because that's all he does now. He doesn't have to cut any hair. And he just kind of makes sure that people are doing their job, and he's taking photos, making sure that he's there. And that's actually what he said, that he was going to take a photo with the staff, so things were going to be a little bit delayed while he took his photo and then bounced out of there. And at that moment, it's not that I was like, oh my god, it's the fucking hair cuttery guy. But that's when I first realized how quickly other guys are quick to suck a dick when it's a millionaire. Like, immediately, these grown men, there's a guy next to me in his early 30s, there's another guy with a cowboy hat, really big. He was probably in his 50s. And they both immediately, like, as soon as he introduced himself and said who he was, like, you know, oh, wow. Oh, yeah, you're one of the founders. The guy next to me was like, can you believe it? And I'm just on my phone, like, swiping on Twitter and shit. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like,
you were looking him up on Wikipedia.
Not even that. I could have, like, but I really did not care. I don't care if he was lying or not. I just was on Twitter, and I came for my haircut, and that's all. And the guy next to me is like, I've been coming to this hair cuttery since I was 3. And I'm like, first off, this particular hair cuttery has not existed that long. Second off, how would you even remember that you've been going to that one since you were 3? But it doesn't matter. And he's immediately like telling him the story and how much he loves hair cuttery. That is how quickly a millionaire will make you the greatest fan of a particular hair cuttery place. They don't even know who he really is. They've never seen him before, but just the fact that he said who he was, they immediately got on their knees and
Gross.
Like they're spitting. No, actually they're swallowing. They're doing a bit of coughing too, yeah. So it was just, it was a lesson learned to, if you have money, guys will suck your dick without you asking them to.
For free. You just have to introduce yourself.
And he took his photo and he fucking went on his way. And I happened to get a haircut next to the guy that was sitting next to me, who the entire time would not shut up about this man that he suddenly fell in love with, this hair cuttery founder guy, and how much he loved him and how interesting it was. Like, of all the hair cutters, it's like, it's a fucking hair cuttery, dude. Relax.
And you said, like, it slowed down stuff, right? Because he was in there taking photos, talking to people.
Yeah, he took all the staff, and he had to line them all up and get the right photo, so they weren't cutting hair.
Right. And you didn't even get a free haircut out of it.
No, but that's how he became a millionaire, not by giving away free haircuts.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like if I rolled up into one of my shop and I'm like, here I am, free haircuts for all of you. And, like, then they would extra love me.
Okay, Oprah. Free haircut for you, and you get a free haircut, and you get a haircut.
But then I'd go to my staff and be like, but make them shitty. Ha 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 ha. I don't need your business. I'm a millionaire. That's exactly what I would do.
So that was my story this week, yeah.
That's a very good story. One day I will have a story to share, but today is not that day. The other day I coughed because I was sick, and I had a fever. That's my story. So, moving forward with some of our news, CBS has released the first image of Ido Goldberg as Red Tornado for the upcoming Supergirl TV show.
In a press release, CBS said, Red Tornado is the most advanced android the world has ever seen. Designed by scientist Tio Morrow for the U.S. Army as the ultimate superweapon, he soon becomes sentient, posing a grave danger to National City, including the people Supergirl cares about most.
So people went, we don't understand this, so you're a grave danger.
That's kind of the story of Red Tornado. He just wants to discover what it is to be a human and how he can advance in society. And it looks like at first he's going to be a villain for Supergirl. And if they do go the route of the comics, then maybe he'll reprogram and turn good, or he'll just eventually, they'll come to sides and join the same side and work together, which is probably what's going to happen. But let's talk about the look of Red Tornado for Supergirl.
It looks like Data from Star Trek, but red and not as cool.
Also looks a bit like Apocalypse from the X-Men movie, but if he were just red. Look, I didn't expect it to look like it was straight out of the comic book.
Right.
I that's what I wanted. Like, let's get some armor in there. At least get some armor. If you have to show the actor's face because he's the actor and you're paying him, cool, that's fine. Unfortunately, the armor does look like it's... You know the Mass Effect cosplayers that we see at all the conventions, MegaCon?
Yeah.
That foam, that's exactly what that armor looks like. That kind of foam board that they've shaped out into armor. So it's not shiny, it doesn't look like... it looks like I can just like rip it off or punch through the foam and hurt him. So unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of the look. What do you think of it?
No, I saw it and I went, haha, really? Like, I thought it was a joke. I really did when you showed it to me the first time. I thought like it was from an old TV show or some silly costume. Like, I didn't even know. It looks like a joke to me.
It could be that just like the Flash costume, it looks better in motion or on the screen because this is a single image.
True, and granted, they're probably going to use a lot of CGI with him because he's doing tornado-y things. Can they give him blue tornadoes? Like, when he shoots tornadoes, can they be blue, please? That's all I want in my life.
Why blue? Why specifically blue tornadoes?
Well, I mean, they could be green.
Wouldn't they be red? Because his arms would be going around.
That's the point. That's why they have to be a different color, because then it's silly.
He didn't even have the arrow, by the way. Like that Avatar
Avatar The Last Airbender arrow?
Yeah, he didn't have that.
Because then people would go, why are they copying Avatar The Last Airbender? And someone would go, ugh.
They kind of incorporated it into the armor a little bit, like it's on his chest. It looks like a downward arrow. But I wanted it to be on the forehead, pointing down.
But then he couldn't like hide in the crowds.
And the arrow can activate, like in case he runs into the hair cuttery guy, so the arrow pushes him down to his knees, like so he can suck the hair cuttery guy's dick.
I was gonna say it activated like when he went into the Avatar state. You just took it a different way. Thought that's where you're going with that.
So we're still gonna watch Supergirl, regardless. That will premiere on CBS Monday, October 26th.
I hope they change their song, because that fight song, I'm done with it.
I don't think that's the opening. It's all marketing.
I'm going to fight against that fight song, because I'm done.
Now we have some Batman news, straight out of the Hollywood Reporter.
So, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Bill Finger, long recognized as the main contributor to the creation of Batman, will receive credit moving forward. Finally.
Yeah, it's been a very strong campaign to get Bill Finger's name into the comics, into all the television shows, into the movies, right next to Bob Kane's, which we all know, we've all seen, very prominent, especially like in the 89 Batman movie, you saw Bob Kane's name on there. That's probably one of the first times I remember seeing his name in anything since when I was younger. And we even had I'm looking at it right now, the Bill Finger book, illustrated by Ty Templeton, in which it gives it a history of the creation of Batman and all the things that Bill Finger actually created on the Batman character compared to I think it was just the name and the concept of like a cape that Bob Kane did. And that's really come to light and more into people's minds as we move forward in the last 2 years. That's when it's really come strong and people are really wanting Bill Finger's name in there. And it appears that his name will be acknowledged in the credits, starting with Gotham Season 2 and next year's Batman v Superman.
That's awesome. So, like you mentioned earlier, he did do a lot of things for Batman, but he's also critical to the creation of other DC characters like Green Lantern, the Joker, and iconic pieces in Batman's Batcave like the giant penny and the T-Rex, which, where would the Batcave be without the giant penny and the T-Rex?
Right.
Just be a gloomy cave.
A staple of the Batcave.
A cave without a giant penny and a T-Rex.
Even in like the comics now with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Like the giant penny, I don't think they've explained it yet. But it's just there. Like,
just
it has
leave
to
it
be.
there.
It's an iconic piece, just like the rest of them. In the animated series, he pushes it onto... who was it? I think it was in Justice League or in the animated series. They push it over onto like some robots or something like that and fight a bunch of people. Maybe it was the Hawkman people.
That's good.
Pushed it on them.
Pushed it on them too. Did they get in the Batcave? When did they get in the Batcave?
Yeah, when they followed... I think Hawkgirl had betrayed them, but that's when the rest of the Justice League members were in the cave with them. And Batman used his bats and he had them scratch him, and Superman was stopping them. One of the other Justice League members uses the Mr. Freeze's gun and freezes a couple of the Hawk people. It was amazing. I love that. It was like the season finale to season 1, I think.
Yes.
Season 2.
I feel like that arc would have been better if Hawkman was played by Tommy Wiseau. Because then he could go, you betray me and I'm the fool. It would be wonderful.
That ending was great because he accepts, one, that Hawkgirl doesn't love him.
Right. Because he's lame.
And 2, that the mission was over. Because as soon as they destroyed the machine that would have created the portal between the two worlds and used Earth as like that destruction to actually get the planet moved and all the people moved, once that was destroyed, there was no mission. And that was it. And once it was destroyed, he could have easily been like, well, screw it, we're going to kill all these humans anyway and fight the Justice League. But instead, he took the mission, he took the defeat, and he said, we're going to have to rebuild. Thanks to you, our people are going to have to stall, and hopefully we'll survive this. And that's kind of the end of it.
Yeah, assholes, we don't care. We're Earth.
And then the Justice League kicked out Hawkgirl.
Yeah. Well, she betrayed them. And
that
they
she
were
did.
the fool.
Yeah.
So speaking of Gotham Season 2, which as we just said will have Bill Finger's name in the credits, Gotham showrunner Bruno Heller recently told comicbook.com that the Court of Owls will eventually make an appearance in the show, as it is a deep part of Gotham's history as of the last 2 years.
That's true.
Can I tack that on there?
Well, the last 4 years. 2011 was the New 52 Batman.
The last recent history of years.
Bruno would not reveal whether or not it'll be in this season or a future one.
It depends on what they get renewed for.
Leave it as a cliffhanger at the very end of the season.
And then cancel like Constantine. Stupid assholes.
So we did actually see the first episode to Gotham.
Yep.
Season 2.
We did. Penguin was being all penguin-y. Gordon has a baby face.
Yeah, he looked younger. He lost weight, like you said.
He looks younger than Bruce.
Somehow.
Alfred was still a badass.
And Bruce actually did get... That kid got it. I know you're at that age when you go a year... And then you look immediately older, like in the Wonder Years, when Kevin went from like freshman to sophomore year.
Yeah.
He's suddenly like 3 years older. I'm like, what the hell happened to Kevin? How long did they stop filming for? That's how it was with Gotham Season 2 as well. You also saw Selena Kyle and Barbara Gordon was in jail with who we think, I guess.
Or Barbara Keane. Barbara Keane, I'm
sorry, yeah. They're not married yet.
They won't be. She cray.
She is. She's in Arkham Asylum with what has been marketed as the Joker so far, who I feel like we're seeing a little bit too much of.
Yeah.
And he's kind of overacting the part now. Like, you saw him in the one episode last year, and he did all right, and people were really, really astounded by his performance when he actually started revealing who he actually was to Gordon and the rest of the GCPD, and that's what people remembered and absolutely loved. And now we're getting that throughout the whole episode, yeah.
All the time.
I'm still hoping that this ends up being like what they initially pitched, in that every season they'd have someone who you think could be the Joker, and then it turns out it's not, and they do that every single season.
That's awesome.
I think they should do that.
I think they should.
And then if they really wanted to revisit, they can say, well, one of those that you thought was the Joker, actually it does end up being the Joker in the future, and then you could spin it like that.
Yeah.
I feel like, or you can always just leave it a mystery since it's the Joker. We still don't really know the origins. The Killing Joke, if you follow continuity, it's like, well, that didn't really happen, maybe, or it's not really his story, and it's all crazy. Even in the animated series, they didn't really give him a definitive origin. When we saw Mask of the Phantasm, that was his origin, and they gave him the name from Batman, the '89 Batman. Jack Napier. They gave him the exact name because that's what it was all spinning off of. And then in a future episode of, I think, the animated series or Justice League, might have even been Batman Beyond, Bruce mentions Jack Napier was also an alias. So he still doesn't know who the Joker is. So it's like, yeah, all that stuff that happened in Mask of the Phantasm,
You can't ever find out who the Joker is. That's part of his mystery. Like, if you knew who he was, you'd be like, oh, he just went cray. But now, like, and we've seen it in the comics, there's so much myth and lore behind him that you can go on, oh, he's lived forever, because nobody really knows who he is.
Like Batman, he is immortal and will always be a symbol one way or another.
Except Batman's Bruce Wayne, and he's cooler than the Joker, but whatever.
Definitely is.
Spoilers! Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Do you have an origin that you would accept, like the Killing Joke or Mask of the Phantasms? Is there one that's good enough that you'd be like, that's fine?
I feel like probably if it was told well enough, and I feel like I would even accept several origins of the Joker. Mm-hmm. Because you have kind of a little bit of the origin from, what was after Begins?
The Dark Knight.
Right. So you have his origin from The Dark Knight, somewhat. I mean, he flops between two different stories.
2 or 3 stories, yeah.
Right. But I would accept any one of them. You have the idea that he's a failed comedian. I would accept that also. So there's so many origins that you could give him, and I like so many of them that, I would really accept almost anything.
Speaking of the Nolan one, there's yet another origin that's popped up, and this is the one that people accept as like, this is probably the Joker's origin in The Dark Knight, and that's one that isn't told by the Joker, in fact, but that he's a war veteran, presumably from September 11, and the war changed him, made him nuts, and that's why he's so knowledgeable of explosives, because he would have been in the war handling a lot of those weapons and explosives and guns. And when he returned from war, crazy, went into Gotham and understood that the chaos of the world is what really puts into perspective how silly some of these things that we hold so important are. Like he mentions, a bus of kids get killed, everyone freaks out, or a mayor, he says, but if a soldier dies, he's supposed to. So that's kind of where people got that clue or that hint, and they kind of ran with it.
I could see it, but I don't like that, so I don't accept that one.
I'd accept the Killing Jokes. I think that's very straight. It's something where he was forced into it, and then the conflict with Batman resulted in him slipping into the
he fell in acid. I'd be pretty cray after I fell in acid, too.
No, you'd be pretty dead. But it's comics, so...
Unless I was the Joker, then I'd be pretty cray. Be running around squirting people with acid flowers, laughing about it.
Failed comedian.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be really cool to see Court of Owls on the screen. I can't wait to see how they pull that off.
I don't think we'll see a Talon. I think we'll just see the members with the masks. Maybe we'll discover that one person is a member.
You know what it'll be? It'll just be like a mask, like in the background.
That'd be fine too.
Yeah.
If they can recreate the mask in any one of those, in the TV shows or the movies, I know we have the one that they sell throughout Halloween. It comes bundled with Volume 1 of Batman. But if they make a professional mask and make it look really nice and put some work into it, I'd be really interested to see it. Mm-hmm. And some cosplayers have done it. Before they offered the mask, they made like a papier-mâché clay mask out of the Court of Owls, and they looked really nice. Like some of it looked worn down, and they had that texture on it as well. So people have done a great job, but I do want to see it in Gotham.
Hopefully we will. We will find out. Hopefully this season 2 just started. If not, let's hope it gets renewed for a third. Hashtag save Constantine. Gotham.
Assuming it's even a good season. We're only one episode in, and I thought it was just okay.
It was okay. Babyface Gordon.
So next we have video game news, still sticking to Batman though. Arkham Knight's latest DLC has released, giving players the chance to drive the Tumbler from the Chris Nolan films, as well as Arkham Asylum's Batman skin.
Off topic. So at work, like, we have frozen drinks, right? Mm-hmm. And the big container that you pour the frozen drink, like the machine, the outside of that machine, the plastic container, is called a tumbler. So you said people driving tumblers around. I just saw them in my little slush machine. I've been working too much, guys. I'm so sorry. So, with the release of this month's DLCs, players have taken to Rocksteady's forums, Twitter, and Facebook, because they just can't leave these people alone, to demand for better content.
So what is the problem? Let's see if players are justified in demanding better content in DLC. I think we are 3 to 4 months into the 6-month period that Rocksteady said they would support the game for DLC for this current season pass. I'm sure if it was really successful, they would do a second season pass for another 6 months of DLC. The players have noted that Arkham City and Arkham Origins had a wider range of challenge maps straight from the disc without any DLC needed.
Players also primarily want the option to play as different characters in the game's open-world challenge maps. Arkham City previously gave you this feature with Catwoman.
Arkham Knight does have a few AR challenges which act as challenge maps, but they're very few. It's almost half of a first page from Arkham City, whereas Arkham City had like 4 pages of challenge maps and predatory maps, all that stuff. When you finish the game, I kind of expected, and I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe when you finish, you'll get more maps, different scenarios, and it didn't really unlock much after I finished it, and I was kind of disappointed, especially since I did everything except the Riddler trophies, and I did some research. Even when you finish the Riddler trophies, it doesn't give you a collection of challenge maps. One of the greatest parts of the Arkham games is the combat. Being able to jump right into combat with different backgrounds, different enemies, was what made Arkham City so much fun. You can, you want to fight these League of Assassins, you can do it. If you want to fight the Joker thugs, which are a little bit easier, you can do that as well. And honestly, Arkham Knight hasn't had that pool, and I've gone in there and I've checked them all out, but it's really not the same. Like, you have the Azrael one, which is don't get hit, and that's fine. I like that one a lot because you can continue to do that over and over again, but I don't have the different scenarios with the different enemies that I can fight in Arkham Knight. And instead, we're allegedly getting it through the Season Pass, but even the Season Pass isn't delivering on challenge maps.
So after fan response, creative director Sefton Hill revealed that an October update will be adding the ability to choose different characters for playing AR challenges.
So that's a start. In the Arkham City, you were able to do that, so they're kind of fulfilling that a little bit. They haven't said which characters you're going to be able to play as, and they still haven't given us that Harley Quinn skin that was in that Batgirl DLC that they could have thrown as part of the package, but they did not.
You get to play as different suit Batman.
As for the rest of the cast, being in an open world for Gotham, Sefton Hill did have this to say. Quote, "Everything in the city is tailored to Batman, from the height of the buildings to the width of the streets, to the lighting on the rooftops and everything in between. Other characters can't grapple and glide or drive the Batmobile like Batman, so for them to feel authentic, they would need to navigate in their own unique ways. And when that's done, even Gotham itself would need to be modified to get the best out of this new gameplay."
Guys, we worked real hard and we don't want to do nothing else. That's what they just said. That's pretty much what they just said. All right. Oh, yeah, no, it's all for Batman. We can't. I mean, Gotham would need to be different, but this is our perfect Gotham.
There's just no way.
We can't. There's nothing we can do. There's no other way to go. I feel like I'm going through puberty. I feel like that's what I sound like, guys. I apologize.
Maybe that's what Sefton sounds like.
Maybe. That'd be great.
Catwoman in Arkham City was able to grapple buildings. She was able to climb up buildings just like Batman. You can explore Arkham City just fine, and yeah, she couldn't glide, and I feel like players would accept the fact that someone like Nightwing can't glide, someone like Catwoman won't be able to travel the city as fast as Batman, but just having them run around the city, maybe having them collect their own number of trophies or a couple of different challenges, fighting thugs, that kind of thing. I don't expect to be able to drive the Batmobile as Catwoman. Maybe as Nightwing, a motorcycle or something, although they may have to come up with a whole new division of gameplay just for that. So even if they don't give us Nightwing with Batmobiles, that's fine too. But the fact that they're saying that none of this is... Even when you played as Nightwing in the other games, you were able to grapple up into gargoyles and stuff, so I don't see why they can't reskin Batman with one of the other characters, especially when they already have the models there.
Because there's nothing we can do. We've done everything we can.
Next edition will be a Nightwing solo chapter similar to that of Red Hood, Batgirl, and Harley Quinn's, except this one will actually be developed by Rocksteady. The previous DLC entries so far have been put together by Arkham Origins' WB Montreal.
We'll see how it is. I mean, I know we're such fans of Nightwing. But definitely something that we're going to play, of course, though we will squeeze every bit we can out of this game. I would love to see more characters that we could play as, though, and run around the city. Like you said, even though they have limitations and can't do... Like, they could put in fucking Alfred. I would run around the city as Alfred. Like,
PC modders have already done that.
Pour hot tea on people. I don't give a shit. See you, thugs. Psh, hot tea in your eyes.
Yeah, PC modders have taken the game.
That's awesome.
They've had a playable Alfred. They're actually now working on making the game open world with other characters themselves. Like, there's a portion of the city that they've already completed, and they're working to get the rest of the open world.
That's awesome.
With just a few people that can do it, and they're saying, like, if we can do it, why can't the developers do it better with their budget, their extra teams?
Because there's nothing they can do. My hands are tied.
Sefton Hill also recently took to Twitter to ask gamers which of the two following Batman suits they'd prefer to see in future DLC to go along with the Nolan Tumbler. Either Batman Begins' Batsuit or the Batsuit from The Dark Knight.
I choose the animated series.
Yeah, we still haven't fucking gotten that. The animated series skins, where are they?
There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on that all night. Which one would I rather see? Maybe The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight is the correct choice. That's the more popular of the two Batsuits. We saw it in two movies with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. So I feel like it summarizes the Nolan universe better than the Batman Begins. I would prefer the Batman Begins outfit because it does present my favorite of the three movies. Mm-hmm. But the correct decision would be, if I were him, I'd go with the Dark Knight's Batsuit.
Or they should just release both.
Yeah, why didn't they just do... Maybe they will, like, as a as a thing.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, we have the Tumbler, which was in several movies. Let's just release both. But whatever. I'm not a developer.
It'll make people a little happier, too.
I'd be putting so much weird shit in this game. Like, okay, now Batman's gonna kiss Catwoman. But Kelli, that's not part of the story. We're gonna make it part of the story.
Do you think the season pass has been worth it so far from what you've seen?
Not from what I've seen. I feel like if they had made the stuff with the Batmobile better, then yes, it would have been worth it. But the Batmobile was so difficult to control anyway and so frustrating that, yes, we have those maps, but we played them once, maybe twice a piece. Mm-hmm. And then it's okay. Done with that. We completed that.
Right. It's like a short little race, and I would have gotten way more out of it if there were challenge maps. Mm-hmm. And the story modes, the thing with Red Hood is really short, and it wasn't fun. Like, it was just the Red Hood beating up like two people, and that was it.
That's all he can beat up. That's why they had to just put that many.
Batgirl DLC was cool because it gave you an extra portion of the map that you can explore, and then it gave you classic Harley Quinn. So I was fine with that. The Harley Quinn one is almost as short as the Red Hood one.
Right.
I don't know. It's frustrating because I want to support Rocksteady. They've given us 3 awesome games. So I got my money's worth in Arkham City. I got my money's worth in Arkham Asylum. So I feel like Arkham Knight, maybe I'm not getting my money's worth, but I've gotten so much out of the past 2 games that I don't feel as cheated because I'm like, well, you know, I got more than the $90 or whatever that I put in Arkham City. So it's not as big a deal that I'm not quite getting that with Arkham Knight. But with fan feedback, maybe there will be improvement with the Season Pass. Maybe the Nightwing DLC ends up being amazing. Maybe they'll put in Batman the Animated Series and that Harley Quinn outfit from the Batgirl DLC. But that is a lot of maybes. Like, there's a lot up in the air for them to deliver on if they want to make this DLC really great. And it's only going to be for people who already bought into it, because the feedback already on this, everyone else that didn't buy it is saying, oh, I'm glad I didn't buy that. Really happy. And now they're never going to buy it because of that. That perception is always going to be not worth $40.
Just like with their collector's editions that they did a while ago.
Mm-hmm. And then they even canceled one of those this year due to quality control, which was fine. But yeah, so the first collector's edition from Arkham Asylum with the Batarang, I got so many complaints. I used to work at GameStop, and I got so many complaints on that one.
I am hopeful that it is possible that, okay, they got 2 months left, they can bang out something great and make this worth the money. I think it's better just that we count our losses and say, you know, this is what they gave us. It was still a great game. We've still gotten great things in the past. Unfortunately, this is disappointing.
That's exactly the word there, too. I feel as if the main story, if the main game were as good as Arkham City's, which was going to be hard to do anyway, because you didn't have the story there, then I wouldn't feel as bad or as disappointed like everyone else, and like you said. But the fact that the game itself also fell a little bit short of the rest of them, it kind of piles on top of that with the season pass. And even that, with the ending to Arkham Knight, there hasn't been DLC that says, oh, well, this explains what that ending means to the game with that new character and all of that. It was just
super confusing.
Super short, super confusing. That ending wrapped up extremely quickly, and we weren't giving answers at all as to what happened to everything. I understand that the Batman must continue but it was
how
not
did
wrapped
he
up.
continue?
Yeah, we didn't get any of that, and it doesn't look like the DLC is going to give us that. And if they're trying to say that there's going to be another Batman game, probably not continued by Rocksteady, but by one of the other companies, and that's what's going to lead into it, then maybe they should have saved it for DLC, the very last piece of DLC,
right,
and then announced the game with the DLC or a few months after that. That would have been a good idea, and it's just all kind of wishy-washy and all of that. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that they had the most pressure on this one to try to outsell Arkham City, or the fact that it's on a new system with current-gen systems. I have no answers.
Or the fact that Paul Dini didn't help write it.
Man, imagine this game if Paul Dini had returned. We would not have had the Arkham Knight, I guarantee you that. Bigger part for Hush. Mm-hmm. Bigger part for Azrael.
With his little ribbons.
Still the coolest action figure out of the bunch. Very cool.
Did they put like real ribbons on him, or is it like plastic?
Well, they're like little plastic ones.
No, they should put real ribbons.
That would not look good.
That would have been great. I would have been so happy. It would have been so good. Buy me one of those so I can cut off his plastic ribbons and tie real ribbons on him. And then I'm going to put him back in the box so somebody else can buy him.
So if any of you have the Season Pass, let us know what you think. Maybe you're enjoying it more than most of everyone. Or let us know what would make... If you're not enjoying it, what would make the Season Pass worth it to you for the $40? Even if you don't have the Season Pass, what would make you take the dive into investing into the Season Pass? I know we're probably going to get a Game of the Year edition in a year or so, but we still want to know. Let us know on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke, Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
And now we're going to have some Marvel news that I am actually excited about. This doesn't happen often. But over last weekend's Rose City Comic Con, Michael and Laura Allred confirmed that the Silver Surfer comic is returning with a new #1.
There we go. We finally got our answers.
Finally. Dan
Slott will continue to write, and there's been an even newer update with Marvel actually confirming this during the Diamond Retail Summit in Baltimore last week.
So this is set to release in early 2016, but from what I hear, the cover does not feature Dawn.
No, it's just a Silver Surfer leaning forward, and there's just craziness around him. If they were to take out the love story in Silver Surfer, which I don't think they will, right. I think Dan Slott, that's the whole reason he did this, aside from being able to write Doctor Who. Would you read it still?
I would give it a try because it's Silver Surfer and I love what they've done with it so far, but I would be very sad because the love story's like kind of my favorite part.
It was in that first issue where they showed us the potential futures, right?
Uh-huh.
Where like they have a little kid with gray hair. I wanted him to be silver, like instead of just the gray hair. Like have him be silver.
Have the whole kid be silver?
Yeah, a little silver baby.
That's so weird.
Or just bald all the time, because that's what he looks like.
That's fine. I would have a forever bald baby. Like if I had a baby and he was forever bald, I would be okay with it.
What if it was a she? That's fine too.
Fine. That's fine too.
Because it's the Silver Surfer's baby. Mm-hmm. So we'll be subbed down for that one.
Yeah.
Adding it on to our growing list of Marvel books with Howard the Duck we didn't have last year, and we're sub to it now. We did have She-Hulk last year, but we replaced that with Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, which did come out, and that's continuing too. Miles Morales will get his book next year too. So it is slowly growing, not as quickly as a lot of people have with the new #1s that are coming up, which are great, awesome for business, very happy for it, but on our end, we're very selective as far as the Marvel comics go.
Exactly. However, these Marvel comics are one of the reasons we're broke, especially with this next bit of news. Marvel Comics may be trying to push their standard comic price up an extra $1 to $4.99.
10 of their December titles are going to be $4.99. Previous catalog came out, and we're looking at those prices. It's almost like it's a fucking annual.
Yeah, and we're cringing. We're like, oh no, another $1. There goes my microwave macaroni and cheese from the freezer section that I have to take to lunch.
It's still a big deal because we don't want to see the standard be $4.99.
Of course. While some are main titles like Secret Wars, others are standard comics with an extra content not relating to the main book.
For example, Howard the Duck is now a $5 comic, with the extra content being Gwenpool comic strips.
So things we don't care about.
In the comic, and we're being charged for that.
Right.
That's the problem, I feel. If you were to make the comic, give it extra story, then I'd be okay. But giving us content that doesn't relate to Howard the Duck,
content
big no-no.
You had sitting in the back corner and you said, add this in here so we can get an extra $1.
Remember when DC tried to do that with the Batman Endgame books? and people gave them very negative feedback,
Good.
including the creators, and that's when they kept it.
They put the Twix ads in.
Well, if you remember, it was the Joker stories where every month we'd figure out a different portion of the Joker story and how they each had an origin to the Joker. Right. And that first book was a premium price, and when people freaked out, they said, we're going to leave that extra content in there, but we're going to bring it back down to $3.99 instead.
Which is a smart move. Something that we're worried about with Marvel, though, is that it could eventually be that the strips will be removed and the new standard pricing being $4.99. So they remove the strips, the extra content, because nobody cares, and they just leave the price at $4.99.
People like us, assholes like us, complain like, who cares about Gwenpool? Take that out of the comic. And they're like, no problem, here you go. This book's still $5, and we're gonna move forward. So
and look at our movies. We have
and fuck off, $4, yeah, $5.
Thanks for your money.
Yeah, just as before, comics that were $3.99 used to have extra content that was eventually removed with the price staying.
Stupid Marvel.
Every comic company does it, and unfortunately this time around, it might be that Marvel's doing it. 10 titles, $5. One of them being Howard the Duck, really?
This could work in our favor, though, because maybe then Marvel people will be like, these are too expensive, let me go buy DC books, and then Marvel's reign will be over.
How's that affect us? I'm not that much of a fanboy where I'm like, I'm being personally paid by DC to trash Marvel. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just want to read my Batman.
I don't like Marvel, because who cares? Like, I would rather just nobody read them because they don't care either.
I don't care what anyone else reads. I really don't. As long as I get my Batman... and I'm happy. Let them fucking read.
I read my fan fiction. Is that okay?
Not if someone else doesn't think it's okay. Not if like a Marvel fan says you should be reading Marvel books and not fan fiction.
And then I'd say, well, then stop reading your Marvel books and I'll start reading my fan fiction. And they'd be like, fine, I'll stop reading my Marvel books. And I'll be like, joke's on you. I'm not stopping.
You're like in the junior high of the comic world.
Yeah,
That's what you're like.
It's great. It's a great place to be.
Is DC cutting you a check too?
I mean, they might be, but... maybe I'm going to the DC pep rally later.
You're like, I think they can be, is what you mean to say.
DC cafeteria got some cold pizza. It's my favorite.
Either one of the publishers, if you cut us a check, we'll gladly read your books only.
Except Marvel, because who cares?
If Marvel would have paid me, I'd be like,
shut up, Kelli, shut up.
Who is this? The Batman. I don't know who that is.
The Batman?
Bat-man?
I'm so confused. Maybe it's Bateman.
Could be. Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, I've heard that name before. Who is still Batman. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Full circle, yeah.
So we've got the contest winner.
Yeah! Woo.
For the awesome Secret 6 #1 custom sketch provided by local artist Robin Hernandez. Please follow him on Twitter at Robin Doodles. Huge thanks to him because he did hook us up with this great cover. He read this issue multiple times so he can get the right feeling for the cover before he put it together. And he read it more than us. He said he must have read it like 10 times.
Wow.
So he put a lot of thought, a lot of work, and it shows on this custom cover. And you guys have been entering through Twitter, through Facebook, liking and sharing and retweeting, which we really appreciate because we do want to get a lot of exposure to Robin because, again, he did some great artwork, and we do hope to do this again with him in the future. But we do have a winner.
Yes.
Random number generator, and it came up with...
Flora Valencia.
From Facebook. So huge congratulations to Flora. Mm-hmm. She will get the Secret 6 #1 custom giveaway. And in the future, we've done giveaways in the past, so we'll, of course, announce it here on the podcast first. So if you aren't subscribed on iTunes or whatever podcatcher you are using, maybe it is YouTube, just subscribe, and in the future we'll announce more giveaways with different artists, maybe the same artists, all kinds of stuff. We do want to do that more often, which is what the Patreon is for, but otherwise these are awesome opportunities in which we can do what we can for the broquettes out there and for art lovers and Secret 6 fans, because it is an absolutely gorgeous piece. Mm-hmm.
And you can still check out that cover. We have the video up on our Twitter, but we also have it on YouTube. We have kind of an unboxing on YouTube, so I definitely suggest that you watch it and look at it. Absolutely beautiful, and hopefully a great preview of other things to come for some of our giveaways.
There you go. So huge thanks one last time to Robin Hernandez at Robin Doodles.
So before we move into our 2 little comic books of the week, but both absolutely wonderful, I think they make up for some of the comics we get sometimes. They're just so great. We do want to mention one of our sponsors, the Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater.
Yeah, brand new, helping us out. A lot of our Brokettes are from Florida. So we do want to promote some of the shows and some of the concerts that they have coming up throughout the holiday season and into early next year that a lot of Floridians might be interested in. Or if you're visiting Orlando for the holiday season, maybe you're going to Disney, maybe you're going to Universal, stop by and check out one of these shows. So the one that we are going to be promoting is Pixar in Concert.
This will take place on Sunday, October 11th at 3 p.m.
This visually stunning, high-definition, multimedia family show features montages of memorable clips from every one of Pixar's 14 films, including Cars, WALL-E, Ratatouille, A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Monsters, Inc., and The Brave, all accompanied by live symphony orchestra.
You know what I would play the whole time? Got a friend in me. I just play that the whole time.
Is that your favorite from the Pixar movies?
I mean, that's the most memorable. You think Pixar, you think Toy Story, you think that song. They go hand in hand. I don't think there's another Pixar movie. I mean, maybe Monsters, Inc., where you have a song where you think of that movie and immediately you think of that song. And they pulled it out for like 3 movies. There's probably going to be a 4th.
Yeah, there is a Toy Story 4.
Well, I mean, but they'll probably tie that song into the 4th. You remember it for all of them. So tickets for this start at $35. You can pick them up at www.drphillipscenter.org.
Which one is your favorite of the Pixar movies?
Ah, man. I already know yours. It's Monsters, Inc. or Monsters, Inc. University.
Yep, those are the two.
I mean, Pixar's got some great movies. I like the first 5 minutes of Up. It kills me every time.
I still remember that one of my friends laughed in that first 5 minutes.
That's terrible.
And that scene after she finds out she can't have a kid, and he just started cracking up, and we're all like, Jesus Christ, Clayton. What the hell, man? Way to kill the mood.
I do really like Monsters, Inc. I really like Toy Story. The thing about Toy Story that's nostalgic for me is it's the first movie I remember seeing in theaters was Toy Story. I mean, which makes sense. It came out in 95.
The very first that you ever remember seeing in theaters.
Yes, was Toy Story.
Damn, I'm old.
But I remember watching it and just being in awe, and, you know, I went and saw it with my dad, and the movie just kind of, like, flew by, because I remember getting out of that movie wondering if I had fallen asleep during it, because it started, and then it, you know, I was so entertained that whole time, and for me, too, looking back at what all the different Toy Stories mean, because they're messages to parents. They're about your kid growing up. And so, you know, I appreciated it then as a child, and I feel like when I become a parent, I'm going to appreciate it even more, because then I'll really be feeling what the movie's trying to tell me. And I was a weird kid and thought my toys were alive too, but let's move on.
That is kind of weird.
Let's stop it. It was only for like a day after I saw the movie.
So next we have our Patreon shout out of the week. This one being Neil on Twitter at nmats68. That's NMATZ68.
For any of you Brokettes who choose to support us monetarily, for as little as $1 a month, you too could have your shout out on our show.
Just head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke. Thank you so much, Neil, and to the rest of the Brokettes that have supported us through Patreon so far.
And with that, we can move into the thing I'm sure you're all looking forward to, our comic book pull list of the week, or rather, our very condensed comic book pull list of the week.
As you mentioned earlier, you have been working a lot lately.
What am I up to? 70 hours this week now? Easy?
I was able to get through all the comics, but I did want to talk about books that we both read. So I did recommend a couple of the important ones this week, mainly for certain milestones and for what was my personal pick of the week. But we have an indie book and a DC book. First one being the final issue in this series, and that is Red Sonja number 18, written by Gail Simone, art by Walter Giovanni, and colors by Vinicius Andrade.
Of the 2 books you had me read, this one was actually my favorite.
All right, let us know why.
It was just really great. I'm so sad to see this series over, because I love Red Sonja in the hands of Gail is just, it's art. It's beautiful. I love the way that she writes her. And the thing I love most about Red Sonja is she's a very rough character. She comes from a poor town. But there have been I mean, in every arc, she learns more about herself and learns how to be better herself without ever losing who she really is.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. You get to see that here, too. You know, she... I feel like it's been a long time since we got one of these books. But if you guys remember from the last one, she chooses to help out these nuns, even though she knows she's probably going to die. And you see what happens because of that. But she also learns a little bit more compassion. She learns a little bit more about the importance of education and becoming something that she never thought she could be. And she gets a pretty interesting change.
Near the end,
physical change in the end, which I actually liked. I didn't find anything unsettling or wrong about that. And then it was nice to see how she handled that final situation because I wasn't expecting that from her.
Right. This villain, I felt, was probably the weakest of the bunch that we've gotten.
I would agree.
I understand that we had praised Gail Simone for using the first female villain in her arcs for Red Sonja, and the spin that she took from this, and that she's trying to keep women down from learning, and she's trying to keep all the power and wealth and all of that, which has been a theme with some of these villains. A lot of power, a lot of wealth keeping people down. But this one in itself wasn't as compelling as the other ones. Maybe it's because there wasn't quite as much evil in that, and there wasn't really that confrontation between Red Sonja and that character.
I guess the thing that I pulled from this particular villain, and again I had to pull it from this villain, it wasn't told in such a smooth way that it was easy to pick out, is showing that women can be just as cruel to other women. Mm-hmm. It's not just all, it's the big bad man keeping us down. Like, we're pretty bitchy. We're pretty terrible. And so you get to see that from this villain where, am I spoiling it if I talk about it too much? The things that she's doing to these other women are unfair. Mm-hmm. And, you get to see Red Sonja on the backside of that saying, we need to stick up for each other. We all have different strengths, and if your strength is something that will help other people, then that's awesome. Please use that, because in return, they'll use their strengths to help you.
And I feel like my slight complaint about that is balanced out by the fact that, like you said, she did explore even more of Red Sonja's past mm-hmm. with this, with the last 5 issues. So it's like there's a trade-off here,
right.
and that's okay. And I felt this ending was awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm really sad to see Gail Simone leave Red Sonja, and I hope she does come back to the series because she made us Red Sonja fans. Always follow the authors, always follow the artists, because you will discover brand new things, brand new characters, brand new books that I otherwise probably wouldn't have read. Yeah,
because she was wearing a bikini, and I would have gotten mad at you.
I was like, Gail Simone, and you're like, all right. Mm-hmm. Strong female characters, Kelly.
And our last book that we're going to talk about this week, which was Dan's pick of the week, is Sinestro number 15. This one's written by Cullen Bunn, with art by Ian Van Sciver, and the colorist is Jason Wright. None of these colorists got their name right.
Ethan Van Sciver, thank you very much. Very nice man. Ian.
Oh, it's the cold talking.
Apologies, Ethan. You were very cool at MegaCon.
I'm sorry. I thought I called him Ethan. I read Ethan.
So Sinestro.
Yeah.
Still wants Lobo, sort of, but won't take shit from Lobo.
Right.
His series is getting canceled, by the way. Lobo. Well, I'm so happy Sinestro's didn't.
The thing that cracked me up about this book is it said Sinestro and Lobo, and they're on the cover trying to get it on or something, and then Lobo was in there for 2 pages.
He was in there for half the book.
He was not in there. He was in there for a third.
And the rest of it was St. Walker.
Yeah, who I love. This made me so sad. I'm like, Sinestro would be nice to St. Walker.
That's what I felt too.
He just plays flutes and helps Razor discover life.
There was a nice twist with Sinestro, as there usually is in the stories, and you saw that he's been building this army, and you're like, oh shit, the fucking Manhunters again. And then you're like, oh, so that's what he's doing with it.
He's bringing... I don't want to spoil it. But
he's being a good person.
Right. I was surprised to see those earthly things in space.
Oh, like the
the things Yes, the things in the crate, they opened them. And I went, that's from Earth. What are you doing?
It's fine. It's
You're
Ethan
in
Van.
space.
It's just even if it was like regular weirdo stuff that we hadn't seen before, it's like you know what it is. It's their supplies. That's all you need to know. Like it's just a symbol, and that's what what Ethan Van Sciver decided to go with. There's a great page there with Lobo. If you're a fan of Lobo, and there is a transformation that he makes in this that looked amazing, and it's brief, but it's really, really cool. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethan suddenly gets some commissions to draw up Lobo.
Oh, I'm sure.
Lobo himself, I'm like, fucking asshole. He's kind of a dick. Ethan, or fucking Sinestro, put him in his place.
Yep.
Show him who you are. And you, Lobo, you be nice to Sinestro. If you're nice to Sinestro, maybe Sinestro will be nice to
And
Saint
be
Walker.
nice to Saint Walker. All of you be nice. I love Saint Walker. I'm so sad.
He'll be fine, Kelly. They're not going to do anything to him.
They might. You don't know. It's Sinestro. He don't give no fucks.
He doesn't give any fucks. We'll see with number 16 what ends up happening.
You know what happened to Sinestro's fucks? They're with wherever the Green Lanterns are. God. That's where Sinestro's fucks
There
are.
needs to be another ongoing Sinestro's fucks. The Lost Fucks.
Yeah. Can somebody make that book for me, please? And it always have to end with, I don't give no fucks. That's how it has to end. Can we please put that in things?
So great issue. Love Sinestro number 15. And hopefully we'll give you guys more reviews, more comics next week.
Yes, definitely. Once work calms down and I haven't been awake for going on hour 20 right now. This is exciting. But that is actually going to do it for our podcast this week, guys. So sorry that it is smaller and that life happens. But again, just to reiterate, out of the 2 comics that we reviewed, my pick of the week is Red Sonja number 18.
And mine is Sinestro number 15.
And both were fantastic comics, so we definitely recommend, if you like either of these characters, even if you don't, pick one or the other up, because you will be told a fantastic story.
Another honorable mention that I did want to talk about real quick was Scooby-Doo Team Up number 12, which has Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Essentially, Scooby-Doo teaming up with Batman the Animated Series. And that was a very fun book. Anytime they revisit the animated series, I'm in. And we talked about it in the solicitation months ago. And if you didn't order yours, it's too bad because it's out of print. And when it first came out, it was going for like $25 on eBay. It's going for like $10 now, but it always fluctuates.
Of course.
If you're a speculator, like, shame on you. Fucking read the book. Read the comic. Harley Quinn fans, unfortunately, couldn't all get the comic because, again, speculators nabbed it all up. So hopefully you got a copy. If not, it should be available digitally, or maybe they'll do a second printing in the future that you can get from your local comic shop. But that was another fun read, which Kelly will be reading later on this week. But we do want to thank all of you for tuning in to the episode this week. We always appreciate the interactions that we get on Twitter, on Facebook, the help that we get from local artists like Robin Hernandez, the feedback from all the Brokettes to try to make the podcast and the show better, the support that we get through Patreon, and from all the listeners just tuning in, downloading, and subscribing. We've gotten some reviews lately on iTunes, which is always very much appreciated. It helps other Brokettes find us, and spreading the word too. Having other people who you think might enjoy the show find it always helps us out a lot and keeps us going.
I feel like our next reviews are going to be, Dan, who's that young teenage boy who was on the show with you this last week?
You don't sound that bad.
I feel pretty bad. I hope somebody comments that now. That would just make my day.
What would be your teenage boy name?
I mean, I could still be Kelly. That's
Why not
pretty
Kel?
cool. Yeah, no, but then I'm like Keenan and Kel. I'm not
Right,
cool.
Kel's pretty awesome.
I mean, yeah, but I have to, like, could I be a William or something? Actually, I would have been Kyle if I was a boy.
Daniel and Kyle.
That's so weird. It's weird because that's my brother's name now, too. So, extra weird.
So thank you so much, Brokettes. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We'll see you next week.